Oye, señores y señoritas, bienvenida. Ahora tenemos a un primo de cocinar, Bime Cruz of TikTok. Ayúdenme, bienvenido, mi gente. Salud.
On my laptop, it wasn't working.
That's okay.
Oh, that's okay.
That's all right. Man, we're happy to have you, man. This is so exciting.
It really is. It really is. I'm excited too. I'm excited to be here with both of you guys. You guys are both chefs that on TikTok that I follow, that I like look up to. I'll be like, you know how you go to someone's page and be like, you're gonna learn something new.
Yeah.
You're learning something new. Whether it's my guy over here responding to sometimes the haters and he's dropping the mic on him with the knowledge. I mean, you just always got that level of like sophistication with your food, man. That I just be like, when people ask me about my food, I'd be like, I'm passionate about food.
Yeah.
And I cook with passion. I cook with a lot of heart. But there's this bridge that I'm constantly trying to gap, which is that passion, but also have that knowledge and those skills, and just have those fundamentals that every time you put out there, it'll be like, that's the bridge I'm always trying to gap. And that's why I appreciate both of you guys, man. And you guys are very informative for me as a chef on TikTok.
Oh, I think you're there, Mimi. Don't be too modest, man. You shut your face, bro.
What happened?
I said you shut your face. You're there too, my guy.
Yeah, I like to have fun. I like to have fun. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, Bime, listen, for all of our listeners and whoever's watching, why don't you just give us a little 3 to 5 minute summary of how you started cooking, what you liked as a child, your background, just a little snapshot. What brought you to TikTok and all that good stuff?
Well, I started cooking. I was more of like a home cook. When I was younger, I wasn't the best of kids. So, the mom was always like, you're going to stay in this kitchen. You're not going to move till whatever, wait till your dad gets home, that type of stuff. So I was always stuck in the kitchen watching my grandmother cook. And they always cooked from like the ground up. They made everything from scratch. It was like the beans were soaked overnight. They was making sofrito. They was building flavor. So I'm watching this because I had no choice. I was stuck there. And these are some of the fundamentals that I started thinking about food. And as I got older, and when I was like 16, I already had my own apartment, living on my own.
Wow.
That's when I was like, all right, I used to go hungry sometimes. I used to call my mother, and my mother was like, well, what do you got? What do you got in like, I was supposed to live with my story was sort of like a Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I got moved in my aunt and uncle to a town called Bel-Air, except my aunt lived in the projects, and she was like, never there.
Yeah. That's funny.
So my mother, I would just stop picking stuff through the cabinets, like what my aunt had, and she'd be explaining it to me. And I started putting these stuff together, and it was just like that mind flash all over again. Like, wow, I remember seeing her doing this. I remember seeing my grandmother doing this, and it's just like, it all made sense. So then I started cooking for all the guys in the neighborhood. I started cooking all the time. It turned into something that I liked. And eventually, as I got older, I did the whole TV show route, and I went to Master Chef with Gordon Ramsay. When they had like, do you think you've got what it takes to become if you're a home cook and you think you got what it takes to be a master chef, whatever. I went on the show with nothing but pure passion to cook. I knew some stuff, but I didn't have the biggest knowledge when it came to food. And there I was able to like learn a lot, because they teach you stuff while you're on the show. They're teaching you, like, every week you're given like different master classes of like the mother sauces, this, that, whatever. Like, just give you a crash course on the fundamentals of food. And I got sent home early because I'd made a mistake. But the whole time I was there, like, I was winning the approval of the chefs. They were there. And before I left, they were like, hey, man, you got a passion for cooking. Whatever it is you're doing at home, you need to belong in the kitchen. Whatever it is you do, you should. If you're ever over here in Chicago, I'll open the door to my restaurant for you. But that type of yada, yada, yada stuff. And I just left there feeling really confident. Like, even though I was going home early, I felt like, wow, I got the approval of these world-renowned, Michelin star chef like Gordon Ramsay and Graham Elliott just really singing my praises.
Yeah.
Next day, I went into the closest thing to a scratch kitchen in my city. And I went in there looking for some work, went in as a line cook. And I've been grinding ever since, and I went from being a line cook to like a line supervisor to eventually moving somewhere else and becoming a sous chef, executive sous chef, to eventually executive chef, running a restaurant for the last 3.5, 4 years, an Italian from scratch kitchen, like where we do everything from scratch, constantly like getting fresh seafood, meats, and just throughout this whole process of like the last like almost 8 to 10 years, I've really evolved, like hands dirty in the grind, like working my way up in the kitchen and that's where my passion is right now, you know?
That's amazing, man. And what's your nationality, Bime Cruz?
I'm Puerto
Rican, right? Puerto Rican, right? Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, that's dope, man. You know, it's funny because like, I love the fact of like, listen, and you know this, if you work in the restaurant industry, there are some people that have had it the hard way. You know what I'm saying? And there's some people that have it handed to them, where I'm talking about cooks. But what I realize is these cooks that immediately from high school go to culinary school, mommy and daddy pay for everything, they baby them, you know what I'm saying? They come into a kitchen and they're not ready for the heat. You know what I'm talking about. Y'all know what I'm talking about. And listen, I'm glad because guess what? I grew up in the hard knocks life too. Like, no, don't get me wrong. My childhood was very good, but what I'm saying is in the kitchen life. When I was 14 and 15 and 16 and 17, grinding at the wheel, you know, getting shit on, you know what I'm saying? And I went to culinary school for the piece of paper. You know what I'm saying? I didn't go to culinary school because I needed to train. I was training in the restaurant already. When I went to culinary school, I already knew how to like make sauce stocks, mother sauces. I already had all that under my belt. And the thing is I love to hear stories like yours because, you know, it's true, man. It's true. It's like if you're passionate about cooking, you don't need to do anything except for fucking cook. Like, I don't care what anybody says. Like, stop crying, shut the fuck up, and go cook, right? Like, no, like everybody always like, you know, cries about like, oh, well, this and that, and this guy makes more money than me, and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, worry about your motherfucking self. Worry about yourself and your future. Not everybody, you know, it doesn't get dealt the same hand of cards. But the thing is you have to own your shit. You have to own your shit and move forward with your life. And it's crazy because, like, obviously I follow you on TikTok, you know, and we became friends quite a while back. But it's like, you know, we have that mutual respect for chefs. You know what I'm saying? Like, as chefs, like, you can hop on the app and KC, tell me if I'm wrong here. You know, like, when you're going through somebody's page, you can tell if they're a chef or not. You know what I'm saying? If they put in the work
immediately.
Like, you like, hey, let's keep it real. And the thing is I'm going to be honest. I'm going to play devil's avocado against myself. It's like, I remember when I first hopped on the app. And I saw all these motherfuckers out here, like, they buy a chef coat online, they put their name on it, they hop in their kitchen, and they all like, yeah, my name is, you know, blah, 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 and this is what I'm doing, and I'm a chef, and chef this, and chef that. And I'm like, you're not a chef. Like, absolutely. You're not a chef. Like, you could say whatever you want in your own little world, but there's a difference between a chef and a chef, you know what I mean? But now it's kind of crazy because I think I have a different perspective on it, right? Where I am so happy to see so many people genuinely interested in cooking and wanting to become chefs. So my true passion is trying to make the chef life a better life, because I'm going to be honest, it sucks. It really does. When you grind in a restaurant, you like, a lot of cooks ask me, you know, when they're really young, like 19, 20 years old, they're like, hey, what do I have to do? What is it? I want to be a chef. I want to be a chef. And part of me says, no, you don't, dude. No, you don't. I remember when I was 20 years old and the chef at this fine dining restaurant, he's like, hey, you want to come to fine dining? Okay, get ready to get rid of all your weekends, all your holidays, all your nights. Are you ready for that?
Pretty much.
I'm like, yes, chef, I'm ready. And I did because I was young. You know what I'm saying? And I did it, and I worked for free and all this shit. But let me tell you something, man. That shit takes a toll on you. It really does. And I'm hoping that we could pave the lane for the younger generation of chef. And also, I think it's equally as important as growing up as a cook to take pictures of your food, take pictures of your progress, post it online, whether you like it or not. Because here's the thing. It wasn't cool until like 2015 to be able to take pictures on the line at work, right? Dude, if you did that before that time, bro, you're getting iced. I would get murdered. And oh, gentlemen, just so you know, I have some cannelés in the oven, so my timer's gonna go off here pretty soon. But I'm gonna step and grab them, but then I'm coming right back. But I don't know, Casey, tell me what your perception on that is.
On working and not seeing my family for 20 some fucking years, so Bime, my background is so Brandon brought this up, the former we're like yin and yang. So Brandon went Michelin route, I went corporate route, and both kind of the same instances, but like when I was trying to do the Michelin, this was like, this was 2006, 7, 8.
Yeah.
I was in the city, New York City, and it was so cutthroat that it didn't settle with me. I didn't like that environment. So I was just like, fuck this. I'm going to make more money corporate anyway. So in corporate, and I got paid, and been doing that ever since. But like, I still stage every once in a while to the city to keep my brain sharp. But the question for you, though, Bime, I didn't know that you went to MasterChef. Okay, are you allowed to talk some stuff on it? Do you have like an NDA?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know, because like I had some NDAs that I wasn't able to say. Like I mentioned to Brandon, he did a PF Chang's recipe, almost too close, too close. And I'm like,
it was better, bro.
I can tell you what it is. Yeah, no, I know it's better. I'm just saying.
You don't have to worry about them NDAs, man. They're not going to come after you, bro. You don't have any assets. Don't worry.
Well,
trust me, it doesn't hold up in court. Trust me.
That is true.
Okay, like here's the thing, like KC, if you were popping on social media, you had 10 million followers, and you have an income, or you generally have some assets, some real estate, some expensive shit. If you were to give away a recipe that's under that contract, then they could come after you and it'd be worth it for them. But if not, if you're just a piece of shit like me that doesn't have any assets, dude, it's fine.
I don't have anything. But anyway, but listen,
right? Real quick, I don't want to cut you off. But Bime, I think this is really important. A lot of people think that, and I want to hear your honest opinion. So I lived in Los Angeles for 3 or 4 years, and the show MasterChef, a lot of people, they are truly convinced that you become a chef after that show. Like this, and I'm like, listen, unfortunately, it's a reality TV show. Yeah. Right. So they put you. A good example is people like you and people or young cooks in this situation to create the drama. Do you know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't understand that. So what is your point of view? Yeah, what's your point of view on that?
You got to think about it, right? So you got the producers constantly trying to egg you on. The show was extremely toxic, first of all. I never was in such a toxic environment, and I'm not one of these people where
I'm really
like hey Brandon, They said this about you. What do you think of this? Like stirring the pot, trying to get everybody to react. I'm like, if you just say it to my face, you don't confront me about it, I don't care, man. I don't got time for he say. I'm here to learn. See, I went there with an extreme craving to learn. I always wanted to make cooking or being a chef like a career. I just didn't know how to go about it. So I was like, and I'm also was at a point in my life where it's like, I got to do something. You get what I'm saying? I got to do something. Like, I feel like I need to do something with myself, with my career. I want to make my daughters proud. They exactly. Be like, okay, like my dad does this or my dad does that, and food was just like a deep passion of mine. So when you was on the show, everybody there was all like these, like food nerds. Everybody seemed to be like a food nerd. They knew everything, whatever. But when push came to shove, not all the time would they be able to step up to the plate. And a lot of them were there just for other agendas. They wanted the exposure, they wanted publicity, they wanted whatever. And they thought that life was going to be sweet after the show. I'm the only one that I know of my season that after the show, after whatever, I didn't try to do any type of social media. I didn't try to do anything else. All I did was go to a kitchen, put my nose down, my head down, and just grind. People be like, "Oh, you was on MasterChef." I don't even like to talk about that anymore. Now I don't mind. Now I don't mind talking about it because I feel like I worked my way up into a kitchen. Real life cooking and TV cooking, night and day. There's no ifs, ands about a comparison.
I'll be right back.
A chef,
keep talking.
I hear that beeper. As if you become. If you go on one of those shows and now you think that by that you could run a restaurant and you think that you're some type of no, man, it's not. There's and everybody knows in a restaurant, once you're in the top, you're not even doing as much cooking. You might work on a special here and there, but you're going to delegate that to your sous chef. Your sous chef, you're going to break it down. This is what I'm doing. He's going to delegate it to the line. And then you're going to be overseeing, making sure that those specials are coming out right, during the service. But I'm exporting. I'm running the wheel. During service. So, I have to trust my sous chefs are going to take care of all that for me. I'm going to trust that my line is strong and they're going to be able to execute everything that I need, and we all know, especially when the pandemic, in the middle of the pandemic, when everything was going on, sometimes it messes up your special sometimes. Cause you're like, I can't really put this on because I'm so short staffed. I got this guy that's only been here for 3 weeks. I'm already overwhelming him by putting him in a Garmer J / grill. I can't give him this like special and put it over here. Now I'm putting more on the plate on my saute guy. You think you could probably pick this up? And so again, I'm digressing, but what I'm trying to say is that there's so much more than just, whatever you see on TV. TV is good. They try to set up the drama. They try to do whatever. Gordon Ramsay starts yelling and screaming but Gordon Ramsay's a passionate guy. He wants a great service, and that's one thing that even on the show, like he tries to like express, even when the cameras are off. Like, all right, guys, listen, now when these people come in, we want to make sure that this and that. Like he's so focused on the service, and that's when he starts spazzing and losing his shit when service ain't going right, and you're fucking up a plate that he worked on, and he wants you to execute it a certain way, whatever. But night and day. Nobody in my season has gone on to do anything professional in the kitchen, other than just my friend Eddie. He's on a Food Network now. He went on to do. He won the next Food Network star, so he does a lot of. He's on the Food Network right now. You guys know Eddie Jackson? You've seen him on. I don't know if you watch Food Network at all.
The name sounds familiar.
Yeah, not really. Like, I feel like there's a really big disconnect with the real professional chef world and reality chef world, right?
And that's what I was just explaining to him right there. Is that like, a lot of times you're not even cooking that much. You're dealing with like scheduling. You're dealing with your vendors. You're dealing with everything going on, putting out every fire. While you're doing this, you don't even got that much time to cook. You come up with a special and you're delegating it to your sous chef. Like, hey, listen, this is what I like. I'm thinking this, whatever. Boom. Now he's delegating it to the line, and he's doing whatever. And when you come to the line, after you finish doing what you're doing and service starts, that's when you're like, all right, how we looking? And I'm trusting them to make sure that they're ready to go. I'm trusting them that they got their meat supplies in place. I'm trusting, and I give it to my sous chef if they're not ready. I give it to the line if they're not ready. And when service starts, now that's when I'm actually double checking stuff. But I was busy all the way until service started. And it's just like,
what's crazy? What's crazy? And Casey, tell me if you feel this way. But I'll be completely honest and transparent. I worked so hard to become an executive chef de cuisine. Yeah. I worked my fucking ass off, man. And let me tell you something. When I got to the exec level, I started to lose passion. I started to lose, like, you know what? I actually don't fucking like this. I don't really like, I like, and here's the thing. There's two things that I don't really like, and it's the reason why I just continue to cook my heart out. Because I am super passionate about doing things I've never done before. Like, good example, I just went down the panettone freaking rabbit hole. It takes 5 days to make this bread. And the relief of actually making it and committing to it was amazing. And that's the feeling I love. I love chasing after something that's almost unattainable. You know what I'm saying? Making things from scratch that I've never made before. But I have to be honest, when I made it to executive chef and I was, running a restaurant for somebody else and, living out their vision and also, controlling a profit and loss statement and, controlling these numbers. But then when I see the profit margins and I see what my salary is, I have a problem. And it's like seriously, it is what it is. And it's totally fine. It's like, I would much rather not do this anymore. And here's the reason why. But I don't want to tell that to the. So if you're a young chef out there, don't listen to this advice. This is not advice. Okay, it's just me, my personal road. Here's the thing. I ran restaurants for Wolfgang Puck for a long time. You know what I'm saying? It's a great company. I love the company. But the thing is you get to a point where you're like, okay, where you're a shining star. You feel really good. You show up on time. You go above and beyond to like make things work, crunch numbers, run specials, do all of the things. But the thing is, then you outgrow your position. And then also, like, when you're ready to make a move or take on your own restaurant, it's almost like a lateral move, or they try to hustle you and take advantage of you for, like as far as salary is concerned. And that's the thing that makes me so mad, because I didn't know shit until one of my really good friends is an entertainment lawyer. So, and I want to get back to this too, because this is going to be funny for you, Bime. What do you like to be called? Bime Cruz or Bime? Yeah, Bime. Okay. And so the thing is like, he was the one that put in things in perspective. So I had an opportunity to go on Top Chef. All right. I was living in Las Vegas. I made it to the final round, and They ended. It was the
I think
best
you would have
thing.
killed it on there. Just side note, real quick.
Well, you know what? Listen, I think so too. I think it would have worked out really well. But here's the thing: it was kind of like a blessing and a curse because I had my lawyer read the contract, and he's like, "Listen, this is not really a good idea. Like, you're signing over your life for the next 3 years after the show." He's like, "They take 30% of what you make, and yes, they might hook you up with connections, but you're basically under their umbrella for the rest of your life." And I was like, "Okay, well, what is that?" But when you're passionate and you're young, you just want to do it. He's like, "So if this is something you're truly passionate about, then yes, do it. But if this is kind of like the reality TV star contract." He's like, "Let me give you an example. If you go and you invest in a business or you buy a piece of real estate, they get 30% of that in the next 3 years." Yes. And so thankfully, so I'm in Los Angeles, and I get the call, and I didn't make the final cut, and it's because of the conflict of interest with Wolfgang Puck. So because basically he was a guest judge on the show, right? They had him scheduled in, and so it worked out to my benefit. And it's made the reality TV aspect of it is toxic, but guess what? That's what they have to do. The producers have to create this show. So in all honesty, they know who's going to win. They already know the winner. People don't know
whatever
this.
makes the best story.
And here's a great example of that. Nick DiGiovanni, dude. And listen, all the Nick DiGiovanni's fanboys, don't come after me, okay? I love Nick. I love what he's doing. I am a fan. I follow him on all socials. Nowadays you gotta say the positive before you say the negative. A lot of people. I made a video and somebody asked me if I think he's a chef, and I'm like, listen, no. Here's the thing. I'm gonna play devil's avocado. No, I do not think he's a chef. But it doesn't matter. And you know why? Because he's making more money off of social media than all of us. But for me, it's kind of like his food creation falls under the entertainment category. And if you notice, he's taken a turn. Opposed to teaching more, he's just like making videos with food. You know what I mean? And the thing is if somebody I don't care. Like he can do whatever he wants, and he has that right. But a lot of people think, Bime, we lost you.
That's okay. He'll reconnect back in a second.
Dog. Do you want
to that guy?
Oh, Bime, listen, hey, stop playing. I started talking about Nick. That's when you got sad and you cut it off. No.
He's like,
nah, bro.
That guy was a master chef too, right?
Yeah, he was. But here's what I was going to get at is somebody had asked me if I think he's a chef, and I said no. With respect, I don't think he's a chef, and the reason is because he's never ran a kitchen. And then everybody in the comment section, everybody in the comment section, all his little fanboys started coming after me, and it's funny because
Brandon.
This is exactly what they said. He won Master Chef. He was on Master Chef. That makes him a chef. Blah 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 blah. He is a chef. He's a chef. Blah. And I'm like, okay. Listen, I understand what you're saying, and unfortunately, I lived in Los Angeles for 4 years. They do a really good job of convincing you that this is real life. They do. They do an amazing job. And unfortunately, if you even look at the show, they don't bring on trained chefs. Do you know what I'm saying? They bring on home cooks, amateur chefs, but they do not bring on professional chefs because somebody like me would wipe that fucking stage. I would.
Yeah.
I would. There's no doubt.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something real quick. Not one of those people on that show would be able to walk into a Wednesday night dinner service and survive.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about the weekend. I'm talking about a you get a good steady Wednesday where when you finish, you guys look at each other. Hey, that was pretty good, huh? It was a Wednesday. You guys sort of none of them.
But here's the thing, and I want to preface this by saying there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with being a home cook. It's admirable, and I respect the shit out of home cooks and cooks in general. But everybody needs to take in consideration there's a difference between a chef and a cook. There's a difference, and it's not to be egotistical. And I'm not sitting here gatekeeping, but this is what they were saying. Well, Nick is a chef. I believe him as a chef. And I'm like, okay, listen, I don't care. I think he's a great person. I follow him on all social medias. I love his videos. I love his YouTube channel. I saw him go from 14,000 subscribers to 1 million less than a month. And I'm like, dude, that is an amazing achievement.
Yep.
So here's another fun fact. I had, it's funny because I had Hell's Kitchen reach out to me 3 times. And
I just turned him down this 2 months ago too.
Yeah, listen, it's not worth it for you. It's not worth it for you because you're trained. And it's funny because I finally said, hey, I said, listen, I'm overqualified for this. I'm sorry. But this show. And she literally reached out and said, yeah, you're right. And I'm not going to lie. I know some of the producers on the show via my lawyer, but like, it's the same thing. Like, they're not going to have people like me or you guys on the show. They're going to put the worst cooks in America that they can find, or inexperienced, I should say, not the worst. But it's a TV show, and people need to understand that. But I'll tell you what, man, it's crazy. That chef life is crazy. And what like for nowadays, I think what's really important is, you know, with the attacks on social media and like people posting their stuff. And I wanted to get your perception on this because I'm not going to lie. I shut off the TikTok app and I go back to normal life. Right. Like nobody is going to hurt my feelings in the comment section. Right. And I feel like you're the same way. Like, you're just chill. Like, somebody could say, oh, that sucks, or it's not enough seasoning or whatever. And you'd be like, yeah, all right, bro.
I give it a like and keep it moving.
Hey, bitch, you ain't going to tell me how to cook in my own goddamn house. This ain't for you. This ain't for you. No, just lame. But like, I think it's really tough for younger chef creators to take feedback like that. So my rule of thumb is say, hey, only take feedback from your mutuals, the people you call friends, right? You know, because dude, I've had some people in my comment sections that are absolutely ridiculous, and it's actually kind of funny. And before I used to respond to the hate, I'm not like Casey.
But Casey is informative with his hate. He does the mic drop.
You know why? Because he's a trained chef. He is a trained chef, and he feels confident in speaking on these certain topics. And I'm like, you know, this is. And listen, BB, I'll tell you how me and Casey met. I posted a video, and I know you've already heard this 1,000 times, Casey. I'm sorry. I posted a video.
Keep on going.
And he's like, hey, you know what, chef? That looks good, but I think it'd look better on this plate, on a different plate. I don't remember the exact thing, but I was like, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. And I click follow. I followed him, and it's like, for me, it's not really about the followers. It's about your point of view. And Casey and I, even though we have two different point of views, and we debate a lot of things, but at the same time, it's like we're two chefs that can, you know, find that middle ground and, you know, work towards a solution, and that's what makes us a good fit. So, what's your perception on like the hate comments on TikTok and how ridiculous they are sometimes?
Well, honestly, like I give it a like and keep it moving. Sometimes I don't want to. I'm in the same boat as you. I'd be like, where are you coming from with this information? Now, if I go to your page and you don't really have anything on your page that's stimulating me, like thinking, oh, like he knows what he's doing, I don't even waste no time. I give it a like and I keep it moving, or like, you know what I mean, or I'll laugh to it. Like, I'll put like a laughing face and just keep it moving. It's one of those things where I don't let it get my attention, because I try to stay as positive as possible all the time. And it's just like, you know, one of those like me being extra positive is fake it till you make it type thing. Because I'm like, I could turn the switch and it's like I'm back in the block sipping a Henny. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. That's not what we're doing today. What we're doing today is like, you didn't like what I did, or you got an issue with it, then you say what you need to say, but I'm gonna do it whatever. Like, oh, that looks dry, or that looks this, or that. Like, man, listen, who is you? I mean, and I do a lot of what I try to do anyways. You always got to find the things that make you like go pop. Like, I remember what made you, I don't know if it made you go pop, but it's the first time that I really started noticing you, Brendan, was when you did the whole, the cutting of the salmon.
Oh, you know, that video, let me tell you something. That video popped off, but I felt really passionate about it, and it was true, like off the top. I'm not going to repost it, but that is my most controversial video. But I was making a statement. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I'm sure you listened to that and you were like, yeah, fuck, he's right. He's fucking right, because you're a chef. The funny thing is,
I had such a low budget video taken from the oldest phone possible, my sous chef holding it, of me doing a salmon, because when the restaurant that I was at, every Thursday we got fresh seafood, and every day we was ordering salmon, cod, scallops, lobsters. Just that's from our regular vendor. But I'm from Mass, so we go to Boston. Boston, we have this is a big fish company out the harbor of Boston. Is Stavis, is Wolf, is Boston Lobster. That's where we get all our stuff. So on Thursday, we're coming back with about $7,000 worth of seafood, you know. And by Sunday, we got to be selling scraps for appetizers and the specials and stuff, you know. So we're picking up swordfish, halibut, yellowfin tuna, all kind monkfish, fresh uni, freaking every day we had 3 different oysters, different things we were doing on a regular basis. So I really made my bones there with seafood. Like I'm telling you, my main guy that cut most of my fish was my maintenance slash, fish guy. And this guy would tear down. Sometimes we get about like 30 pounds of like black bass. Black bass comes these little bastards, and he's got a scale all. And every time we get the black bass, you don't even want to see him when you hand it to him, dog. You just want to put in a walk-in and be like, yeah. So it's in the cooler. I'm gonna need you to clean that up. And I can already hear him like, "Ay, carajo, puñeta, what the fuck?" You know what I mean? I already hear him cussing, but he's gonna clean that up like this. But the point is that when I seen your video, I was like, word, because you know what? That showed me like, we're cutting at least I'm ordering 3 salmons a day, like 3 whole salmons a day, and we're breaking those bad boys down. And I'm cutting them at least 3 or 4 times a week. But on Thursdays, he's taking care of my big order. So I already knew. I was like, all right, this guy's legit. He's solid. You ever would have said something to me about anything that I'm doing, I'd be like, all right, I need to pay attention. Anybody else, I don't care. So I felt like that was something that really set you, it put you on your mark, chef authorized, and then you was boom, 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 boom. You started blowing up. For me, it's been a slower process because I started posting videos and I started getting a little bit of a buzz, and then I had to slow down. I started doing a meal prep business. It took a lot of my time off from the app. But whenever I do Puerto,
you should do the meal. You should set up a GoPro, and people really want to see that the meal prep business.
Yeah,
you should.
All that shit, I had to get on top of that. I was slacking on that. When I'm not doing it right now, but I was slacking on that.
Oh, okay.
So I do Puerto Rican food. So Puerto Rican food is the thing that I feel like always get buzzed. Every time I do like some roast pork with a crispy skin, the pernil that Puerto Ricans do, or I do like a traditional, like a bean stew, bichuela guisada, or some relleno de papas, which is like traditional Puerto Rican things. I try to always play it a certain way, try to do something new to it. Instead of just being fried food, like I made these.
Oh, you know what? I gotta pull something out of the oven real quick. I'll be right back.
All right. They killed me for saying plantains. It's plantains, but I said plantains. I'm only saying it in English just for the people, but I'm used to saying plátanos or maduros or whatever. I'm not, they killed me for that one, but I just laughed every comment away because it's like, bro, just pay attention to the recipe and never mind how I said it. It smacks. But I like to do different things. Like I served it with like a nice chipotle aioli. I did also a cilantro aioli. So it's a combination of like a spicy and a little bit more cooler, citrusy cilantro aioli. So there's a combination. I give it some pickled onions, fresh cilantro. I finish it and I try to do different things presenting it wise. And it's not that I'm trying to be fancy and I'm trying to do anything. It's just I'm giving you the food that we always have ate. But a lot of times our food has so much room to evolve and grow. And I feel like people don't take the time to do. And that's all I want to do. I want to be able to present our food, but more at a broader spectrum where it can get appreciated instead of just, being one of those like culture things like, oh yeah, I've had Puerto Rican food before. It's good. I wanted to have balance, to have more than just fat, more than just packed with protein, more than just, fried, heavy, rich in flavor. I want to try to find ways to incorporate different things. So when you take a bite, I'm really big then whenever I'm cooking, that I want your palate to be stimulated with an array of flavors. And I want it to, I want the heat, the sweet, the spice, the acidity, and the underrated guy, the umami, that umami flavor that, I also want those flavors. Not all together, but you know what I'm saying? Whenever I'm cooking,
I do.
That's what I'm thinking of. That's what I'm thinking. How can these flavors play off with each other? And it can still be something that we traditionally made. I call it, because I have this little thing where I talk about every time we used to measure our rice, my mother and my grandmother had a tin can. So the tin can where either it came with the corn, you get the tin can, or the Goya beans or whatever. So that tin can, they always had one that's what they used to measure their rice. So they'd be like, how much rice you doing today? Tres latas, 3 cans, 2 cans, 1 can. So whenever I measure, and everything is with the cans. So I try to stick to the roots of the foundation of my upbringing. You know, that little kid that was sitting on that table with his mother and his grandmother doing all that cooking in the kitchen while he's not fully 100% paying attention, but he's watching. And I know the foundation and the authenticity of my food. So I try to keep those techniques, but then also add other elements to bring it to life. And then sometimes you get people who they've never really cooked in the kitchen, barely know how to cook. They just know how to make a recipe that's just loaded with adobo from Goya, and they think that they did something special trying to tell you stuff online. And I'm in my head like, you expect me to pay any attention to what you're really saying? You expect me to take for what you're saying anything like? And I just don't give it no energy. I don't give it no time, because in my head, I know that, listen, man, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. And if you knew what the hell you was talking about, then I'm gonna take it as, all right, let's learn. Because I'm very big on always trying to learn. I try to approach everything as a sponge, because it could be, like I said, the example I was saying about my maintenance guy / my fish guy, Bush. He's all he does is maintenance there. You put him on the line, he's gonna get buried. He's gonna get buried. He's gonna drown. He's not gonna know what to do. But he is also gonna give me a different way to, cut that halibut. Halibut's easy. That's an easy one. But I'm talking just a different type of fish, or breaking down some bronzinis or something like that. He's gonna show you the best way possible to do this, that, and it's just like and so you're always learning. But I also know who to soak up information from and who to just not to ignore. And when it comes to like comments and people trying to say anything, like if you don't really have anything like solid behind you, I'm good. I know enough to know I know what you're talking about. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, it definitely does. Mimi, a question for you real quick. Have you been, how long have you been in Mass? If you don't mind me asking.
Most of my life. I was here. I've been in Mass.
Oh, got you. So I think it would benefit you. I used to work for Legal Seafoods. That was my main corporate for several years. So that's the biggest Boston company.
Not to cut you off, I've had a lot of people come from Legal Seafood that have been really great workers. Really know how to run a good system, like as far as like setting up for like my orderings and everything like that. They got a really good like system in place that I adapted that when I came to doing my orderings. My sous chef was he came from Legals, and he was really helpful with being like breaking down the spreadsheets and everything to set it up to make everything a lot more easier. So I give it to Legal Seafoods. They run it like a machine, but they got a good system.
Yeah, it's a machine driven kind of restaurant. So I think the most in one sentence, they train you to be exec right away, with like the capacity to train the most underling of cooks to read an Excel sheet, because everything gets broken down into like a format, like a PDF or like an Excel, so you can train anyone that goes onto the line. So I that's what I appreciate the most on that company. But I mentioned that because he cut off again for a second. I see his phone's when he's going on. He kind of there we go.
Don't talk about Legal Seafoods. Don't talk about Nick, or else I'm out of here, bro.
We can't even talk about the other ones.
My daughter keeps calling me. I'm trying to hit her a message like, listen, she knows I'm doing this. You know what I mean? But she just.
You should answer it. Just answer it. Say, hey, give me a second.
Man, listen, Mike.
He's like, no.
I know what the hell she. Trust me.
She wants some money.
Yeah.
Like, Daddy, I want some money.
She wants some money.
So,
hey,
so go ahead, Casey. Sorry.
No, really quickly, I just want to show 2 videos before we kind of move on. Bime, I know it's going to be cringe for you, but just strap on your bootstraps real quick. So I got you a couple of footages. I did not know this was you. So I saw this video a while ago because I follow Ramsey. So when anything Ramsey gets tagged in, obviously whatever the videos are. But this is you on the line, but look at you real quick.
I was on a show with Gordon Ramsay called MasterChef. Did okay on the show, but got sent home early. Feeling encouraged, I went to work as a line cook.
Now, before really quickly, I can feel your face. Whoever was recording you, you were definitely on a busy rush. and you're like, bro, let's just get this food out. Like right now, what is going on? That's what I felt on that video. No, go for it.
That was a busy Saturday night. Every year,
I knew it.
Every year, my parents, when they have the anniversary, we get together as a family and go out to dinner. That happened to fall on the weekend, and they already knew like that doesn't exist for me. Like weekend I'm working. So that actually for their 50th anniversary, they came to my restaurant. The whole family was there, and I was cooking. Those meals were going out to my parents and my whole family.
That's pretty awesome.
But that was a restaurant. That was a restaurant that I work at. My restaurant that I worked at, it's a machine too as well. It's a from scratch kitchen. Like we make it's from scratch as much as possible. But we making all our dressings, all our mayo, all our stocks, all our breads, our pizzas. We make focaccia, sourdough, ciabatta. We make lobster stock twice a week. We're making veal stock twice, 3 times a week. We're making chicken stock twice a week. We're making red sauce. We're making veg stock. Everything is like is being made. All the mayo is being made in house. The pickles, it's a really close from a scratch kitchen, and that was one of the driving points. And we're doing everything like fresh. We're breaking down big whole fish and like just constantly. It's a really great place to grow and learn because it's so much that you have to do. Like we're constantly like being hit so hard because we, it's one of those things I say we're not reinventing the wheel, but we're making sure that every spoke on that wheel is nice and tight and those chains is nice and lubricated, and we're ready to grind and pull through because we're doing all the extra necessary steps that most other restaurants just take shortcuts. They'll buy something from Cisco, they'll buy something from Reinhardt, they'll buy something from Gordon's, and it's already pre-made, and it's just like, no, man, we're making everything ourselves, and the only thing we're buying from them, for it's just stuff that we need, like maybe some meat, some chickens and stuff like that, but then everything else is different things that's going to help us make all this in-house. We're not having no pre-made product.
Yeah, I love that, man, and that's what we need more of. Unfortunately, it's just like, and I'm sure you know this, the labor cost is just it's
skyrocketing.
The labor, and like, here's the thing, man. It's like, because I worked in pretty much all scratch kitchens too, and I love the aspect of actually learning something. Because like if you put me on a station and I have to peel potatoes for 8 hours straight, oh, dude, I'm gonna hurt myself. But if you're like doing different things, it really changes you as a cook and really helps you learn and being held accountable, man. That's why I tell people, don't stage, get the job somewhere and be held accountable, get a paycheck. But that's crazy though. That's awesome though.
So I like the word you use, being held accountable, because that's what I tell everybody who interviews in my kitchen when they used to come in to interview. And I'm not gonna lie, man, if I seen a name like Hernandez, Rivera, Perez, I'm excited. I'm like, yo, everybody else is like, listen, this is a hard kitchen from top to bottom. Everybody is strong. The prep girl's gonna hold you accountable the same way the dishwasher's gonna hold you accountable. I'm gonna hold you accountable. Everybody here is strong. Everybody here works as a team. And if you left your station dirty, or you're gonna get told by the prep girl. You're gonna get told, like, what are you doing? This and that. That goes on compost. What are you doing? That doesn't go there. This goes over here. Like, like everybody holds everybody accountable on that kitchen. And it's a strong, I mean, like extremely strong, like to where, it's one of those kitchens where it's the owner, he's a former chef, but his daughter runs it, and she's one of those like flat seat. No respect for the kitchen whatsoever. Like, doesn't give a fuck. And then when my Karma J guy's got like 4 or 5 pages full of shit, and she's calling for, where's where the arancinis, or where's this? I'm like, whoa, listen, Linda, that he just got buried with like 1,000 orders, and he's got to open 12 oysters, and he's got to. It's like, come on. And that's one thing that I always had my lines back. Always. When push came to shove, I always had that back, and I would be, try to dig them out of holes if I know that they got there not because of their fault. But if it's because there's 4 tickets on the board, and now why are you making a cocktail sauce? why wasn't this ready before service? You get what I'm saying? That's a whole different approach. But then you're dealing with these people that sometimes are not considerate of the kitchen, and it's just like I'm personally, that was it was something that sort of was in the back of my mind and sort of like irked me a little bit. But I was also proud of the fact that my team was so strong that no matter what came down that pipe, we swung back and we didn't make excuses. We made it happen, and we held each other accountable to be ready and step up to the plate every time, every day.
I had this experience. Listen, Bime, I went on Thanksgiving. I went to Fleming Steakhouse. And it's crazy because as a chef, I used to hate this. And it's when the manager doesn't manage the room properly, right? The front of the house manager. And what do? They sit people like back to back to back. They overcrowd the server. It's like a harmony. It's like air traffic control. Now, here's the thing. When I worked in Vegas, you had no choice but to sit the people, to sit them and get them ready. Because if not, they're going to go to the restaurant next door. And being on the strip, it's so competitive. It's so competitive. There's so many restaurants, so many good restaurants within a short area that you have to sit the people. But what I tried to do, Bime, is take it a next step where, dude, I'm not gonna lie, we would get freaking 12 to 15 tables sat one time, right? And I remember just getting completely buried, and the kitchen would be down. And then the thing is the manager would be like, "Oh, see, you guys can't keep up. You guys can't keep up if I." And hey, you know what? And I would be like, "Hey, listen, you know what? In all honesty, I would want to be mad at you right now, but unfortunately, we are tied at the hip. So I would ask that, hey, listen, how about you sit them down, but don't give them menus. Give this table menus first, right? Take a drink order, then give them menus. Stage out the menu, stage out the drinks, and then give the kitchen a chance." You know what I'm saying? Because the person back there, we only have two hands. And I would really highly urge to work with the front of the house manager so you don't take the kitchen down. Because in all honesty, this used to happen. And I would say, hey, listen, table 55 is not going to see appetizers for 15 minutes. Just so you know. Yeah. Literally, hey, just so you know, this table right here, you need to go talk to them right now, butter them up, buy them drinks, or send them an amuse, whatever you want to do. But I think that was missing. So basically on Thanksgiving, we sit down. First of all, our reservation was at 6:30, and we didn't sit down until 7:10, right? Because there was just no tables, right? There was just they were just overbooked and understaffed, and I felt so horrible for this staff. When you go to a restaurant, sometimes hey, the food's on its way, it should be up momentarily, no problem. But now in these times in COVID, dog, the server had just gave up, man. He came to the table, he's like, hey man, I put in the order 30 minutes ago. I'll be honest, I don't know when it's coming out, but I'm just giving y'all a heads up, man. He's like,
they're in the weeds when he comes at you like that, bro.
Dog, my man was he had a section in the dining room, and then he had a section outside. So the COVID protocol, now restaurants have built outside, but they don't have more staff. They actually have less staff. Yeah. So I'm watching my server. I'm watching him, and I'm looking at him inside the restaurant, and he has 6 tables on the inside of the restaurant and 3 tables outside.
Damn.
6 tables on the inside and 3 tables outside. And I felt so bad for him, but then I see that the front of the house manager go running to every single table, and I'm like, they need to stop the door. They need to stop the door. You just need 100%. To stop and give the kitchen 30 minutes. I'm sorry, and guess what? You know how many tables they comped that night? A lot. They had to
probably
comp
a lot.
So they end up losing more money like that. Where if they definitely, I used to say all the time, I'd be like, because especially when we started doing takeout, because then you got that big influx of takeout. So you got takeouts coming in like crazy, and you're trying to balance takeouts, and you're trying to balance the ones that are here. And you could tell which tickets is what. So I'll prioritize whichever one's here a little bit before the takeouts hit. But then I tell them, listen, I need a longer wait on takeout. They always wanted stuff to come out in 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but it's like, listen, I need you to set that back to 40 minutes, 50 minutes. Yeah. And it's like, they come back a half hour later. Are we there yet? I'm like, you could set it back maybe 5 minutes less, but listen, you see what's going on here. And it's like, I hate when some people just, they're not being considerate. You know what I mean? It's like, look at the tickets on the board. We have a full packed house, and we got tons and tons of takeout on top of that. Real quick, I know we're to the time. For example, Mother's Day on they opened up the ticket machine at 3:15. At 3:45. At 5, 20. They shut down the machines. I said, you got to shut down the machine. And that was it. No more for the rest of the day. And we still made 24,000 that day.
Damn. That's good, man.
We didn't stop cooking.
Good grief.
Till like 9 o'clock at night, bro. And at that
Been
time,
there, done that.
and it's just like, bro, you know, like, and that day I really did lay on him. I said, you guys really just, you know, you guys took pre-order. It was a learning lesson for everyone. But they really heard it. They were real apologetic to the kitchen because my staff, I'm telling you, man, they fight. And that's the first thing that when I look to hire somebody at this place, anyways, where I was at, I want to know that you're passionate about cooking. You're going to learn. Trust me. When you walk into that saute line and you got to do all kind of different stocks and break down all kind of meat, do this, and then you're on Garment J, you still got to prep everything, all your dressings, break down everything you got to do. There's so much shit you got to do. Then you're going on pizza. You're doing breads. You're doing pizza dough. You're doing all kind of shit that's going to take you most of the day. Like, you're going to learn. You're going to grow, but you have to be willing to fight once those tickets come in because I want you to rely. I want you to be quick, but not rush. When you rush, you make mistakes. When you're quick, you're efficient. So rely on your muscle memory. You know, saying you've done this before. Let's get going. Have everything set up in place. You know, and that's why I make sure you're set up. Your mise en place, you're ready to go. Where's your backups? I need you to be aware of your backups right now, without even looking, trying to guess. Because if I'm going to run or send somebody to get your backups, I need you to tell you, boom, here it's this here and this located here, blah blah blah, go. You know how this man. I'm telling you.
You know what's so funny is like I'm just reminding myself like. Listen, some people think Garment J is the easiest station. Dog, I would argue it's one of the hardest.
Fuck,
Bro, it's the hardest.
I would argue that's one of the hardest. I think what's really important, and I see this common in a lot of cooks, is not having the mise en place correct, right? Not having the mise en place, everything in its place. And what happens is when those tickets start ringing in, they completely stop what they're doing and start making another order. And this is what completely fucks you. And so all them young cooks out there, just remember, first in, first out, right? First in, first out. But I have a golden rule. If you're on a hot app station or a grill station or a fish station, my golden rule is stop and drop. Meaning, if you see halibut or salmon run in, or if you see a New York strip, just stop, drop it on the grill, get it working.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Get it working,
Absolutely.
get it working, and then you go back to the FIFO, first in, first out, and then you have to over communicate. Yeah, man, I that's crazy, man. And listen, Bime, I loved having you on the show, man. It was great. We're gonna wrap it up here.
Absolutely.
But is this tight? Like no
Yeah, this
script,
was
no
fun,
nothing,
man. This
just
was fun.
freestyle.
I enjoyed it.
Just, I mean, dude, I get fired up off of this, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because here's the thing. I think we're all so disconnected as chefs. We all know each other on social media, but when you sit down and have a conversation like this, and like, you know, this is not like Spotify or anything, or like iTunes where we have to like have a script and you know it's produced.
Yeah.
No, man, this is just three chefs shooting the shit and like, you know,
Same
talking about war
conversation
stories.
we would be having like if at the end of a shift drinking a beer.
Yeah,
or in my
exactly.
case,
Bro,
some
this is the
whiskey,
same shit we
you
would
know?
talk about.
Hey, Casey, I want to know why'd you bring up that video, man? Why you put me on blast, man? Getting buried in the middle
Which
of the
one?
line, man.
Nah, that was a good video.
I'm sorry,
Listen,
man. You just look like me on a Saturday. I'm like, I felt that. It looked
It was
like
real. It was real.
It looked like a Saturday.
It was 100%
Yeah, but
real.
still,
But
it was-
I love it. I
It was
love that.
mutual.
I know we got to take off. I just want to say real quick. I love that controlled chaos, the intensity, that let's fucking go. Like when those tickets start coming in, it's something that drives me. That it just makes me like feel so good that I was able to do it, and not just do it, but do it right and have minimal complaints, because you're always gonna have some complaints, but just make sure that you had a great service. You push through it. I look at all my line. They look at us. We're just fist pumping each other. You know what I mean? It's just like, fuck yeah, like we fucking did it. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I love that whole sense of that, especially when you have those nights and you sold out of your special. 86 is special. Fuck out of here. That's what we do. You know what I mean? You know what I used to say on my line real quick? I'm gonna exit with this. I would say, come on, guys, scared money makes money, and we get fucking paid around here. Cool. And it's a hurt chef. Scared money makes zero money, and we get paid because we ain't scared. Let's go. I mean,
yeah, straight up, man. Yeah, it's crazy.
That's
Sick.
when
That's awesome, man.
when the ticket is full, you got to motivate them. They got to let you see that you're ready to go. So they riding with you.
I remember I used to like bail out a cook, and I would make them watch me cook, watch me work their station. It's crazy because I was like, listen, you don't think I can?
Petty.
I was like, hey, that's why I tell all the chefs, you need to know how to do everybody's job. I don't care.
Everyone's
dishwashing, dishwasher, prep cook. You are not good enough to sweep the floor, to not sweep the floor. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I think that's true, man. So anyway,
my sous chef knew. Real quick, my sous chef knew. I was like, take the wheel. If I tell my sous chef take the wheel, here, I'm kicking somebody out the station. You don't know how to freaking do it. This is how you bang pans.
yeah. That's dope.
All right, guys.
All right, brother. Hey, appreciate you, man.
Primo.
Thank you for having me on, man. It was a pleasure.
Yeah. Everybody go follow him on social.
Peace out,
be linked down below.
Yeah.